Warning, I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised. About 3 weeks ago, I put out a video called The Daughters and the Papas about Mackenzie Phillips and her father, Papa John Phillips, from the Mamas and the Papas, and how they had an incest relationship on and off for about a decade. Well, since then, I've gone back and listened to Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon by David McGowan for the second time. And some things stood out to me about Bijou I didn't notice before. Here's what McGowan had to say.
Bijou was a cover model from a very young age. She was also the 14-year-old star of a Calvin-Klein ad campaign that many people, as well as the U.S. Justice Department, considered to be bordering on child pornography, and that Bijou herself has referred to as the kiddie porn ads. Bijou told her interviewer from Index that coaching her and creepily lurking behind the scenes of that notorious Calvin Klein photo shoot, I'm guessing as a technical advisor, was this porn guy. The interviewer identified that porn guy as Ron Jeremy, who is not your run-of-the-mill porn guy, and not just because he is arguably the world's most famous porn star. He is also a very well-connected porn star. His mother, for example, was an asset of the OSS, precursor to the CIA. His uncle had ties to notorious gangster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, and he attended high school with none other than future CIA Director George Tenet. Bijou has alluded to the fact that Mackenzie was not the only Phillips daughter to receive unwanted attention from Papa John. In her music can be found lyrics such as, "He touched me wrong." Asked directly about such references, she told an interviewer that she had made this decision not to talk to the press about anything that's gone on in my life, but just to write music about it. They can interpret it themselves. Though she then quickly added, "It's blatantly obvious." The youngest of the Phillips clan also acknowledged that she has a daddy tattoo on her rear. That was done during a time, she said, when I was a pretty sick puppy.
And after listening to Weird Scenes again, I found this old article that McGowan does mention in the book from Index magazine, Bijou Phillips, 2000, with Bruce LaBruce, photographed by Terry Richardson. Terry Richardson? He's been accused.
Fashion photographer Terry Richardson has been banned from working with major magazines including Vogue, GQ, and Vanity Fair over sexual misconduct allegations dating back to 2010. Us Weekly shares that the Telegraph obtained an email sent to Condé Nast International staff from the company's executive vice president that read, "I am writing to you on an important matter. Condé Nast would like to no longer work with the photographer Terry Richardson." They then told Condé Nast employees that all work commissioned for Richardson should be killed or substituted with other material. The 52-year-old photographer, who is known for his risque photo shoots and famously directing Miley Cyrus' nude wrecking ball video, was most recently accused of sexual misconduct in 2014.
At first, I read the whole interview as Bruce and as Bijou, but it didn't really flow the way I wanted. So I went ahead and put it all in robo voices again, just so you would hear the difference in voices. I thought it made more sense that way.
Okay. So tell me about your Playboy shoot.
They contacted me. We went out to dinner. I had all these conditions, and we figured everything out.
What were your conditions?
That Ellen von Unworth would shoot it, and that I would have control over the article and the pictures, pick where the shoot would be, what happens in the shoot, the clothing.
Or lack thereof. Now did Hef come in during the shoot in his bathrobe?
Yeah, he did. We did some pictures together. That was fun.
Did posing in Playboy shock any of your family members?
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah.
But you're a free spirit. It didn't really affect you at all.
I mean, it kind of did. I mean, it wasn't really a choice, so, I don't know. It was like a pretty bad decision to make. I don't know, they had like pictures of me when I was a kid, naked, so.
What?
Did they?
Yeah, so it was kind of like, we're going to put these out, or you can do your own shoot and get money. And my manager was like, do your own shoot. And I shouldn't have, but I just did it anyway.
So what brings you out here to this movie premiere tonight?
He just ignores it and moves on. It's some amazing journalism.
I guess there's nothing shocking about it anymore.
It's just tits. No big deal.
Did they ask you for split beaver?
Split beaver?
Oh no. Ellen has tons of those of me, from photographing me years ago, but she would never release them. She's taken some nutty pictures of me, but we were friends, so she wouldn't publish any of them.
Now I wanted to ask you, having read in Celebrity Sleuth, my main source of information, about those Calvin-Klein ads.
The kitty porn ads.
What kind of jeans are those?
Calvin-Klein.
Do you like them?
Yeah, they're comfortable. They're like, I don't know, they're comfortable.
Do you ride horses in them?
I usually horseback ride in like bathing suits, but I don't know, I don't own any. I have like one pair, and they're from the 70s.
Really?
And they're like so cool. They're so comfortable.
I'd forgotten you were in those.
It was kind of scary because they had this guy.
Stephen Meisel.
No, Steven directed it, but then there was this porn guy.
Off camera. A real porn guy? I think it was Ron Jeremy.
And he was wearing these pants, and it was just a nightmare.
What do you mean wearing these pants?
These weird leather pants, and he had a cowboy hat on, and he was just sitting there.
So he looked all leathery? Like a leather daddy?
Yeah, and he was asking these questions like, in a creepy voice, what do you like about your Calvin Kleins? How do they make you feel?
Creepy.
And then he goes, what would it take to get your jeans off? I mean, I was like 14. I'd been flown in from boarding school to do this. So I said, if I had to take a shower. If I had to go to the bathroom.
Laughing, what would it take to get your jeans off? How sweet. But it felt creepy, right?
It felt dirty and wrong.
Had you known Meisel before?
Yeah, I'd done a bunch of shoots with him.
So did that make you feel more comfortable?
No. He's scary too.
Laughing, it says here that the Justice Department investigated Calvin Klein's notorious Rec Room underwear ad campaign. It was kitty pornish.
I was 14. I was the only underage person there. I was the kitty.
Now you were born on April Fool's Day, and in Papa John it says that your mother was on heroin when she was pregnant with you, and that you were born premature and almost died.
Yeah. I'm a crack baby.
That's not a very nice way to come into the world. You must carry some anger about that, or did you just let it all go?
I have so much anger.
Does it freak you out that everybody knows all these details? The book's out of print, by the way.
At the time it was huge, when it came out in single quote 87.
When you were only 7.
The book's a bunch of lies, that's what my sister says.
Mackenzie?
Yeah. Everything in it's all bullshit.
It says in the book that Mick Jagger and Jerry Hall were babysitting you once when your parents were going through heroin withdrawal. And Mick and Jerry wouldn't give you back to them because they were too fucked up. And then your father tried to burn down his own house. Do you remember that?
No. I was only 3. My dad went to jail at the time, and no one would give my mom money.
But she had lots of rich, celebrity friends.
My parents fucked so many people over that no one wanted to talk to either of them. Me and my mom ended up sleeping on the street.
You weren't sleeping on the street.
Yeah, we slept on the street a couple of nights, in doorways. And we had to steal food.
I read that your dad was a real grifter.
At one point, he bought a drugstore so he wouldn't have to go up on the street anymore.
And before he became famous he was a mailman, but he was too lazy to deliver the mail, so he'd just throw it away.
He's just dumb.
Tell me about the new song you wrote, the one you were singing in the car on the way back from lunch.
The one about my dad? It sort of speaks for itself. I've made this decision not to talk to the press about anything that's gone on in my life, but just to write music about it. They can interpret it themselves.
There seem to be some improprieties going on. You're talking about stuff in your music that's pretty heavy. Has anyone articulated it for you in the press?
No one has the balls to do it.
I'll do it.
Laughs. It's blatantly obvious.
The refrain in your new song is, "He touched me wrong." How much more blatant can you get?
I really want his balls busted, but I also want to be able to say, it's just a song.
It's not just a song.
It's just a song.
In Celebrity Sleuth it says you have a daddy tattoo on your butt, and there's a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's funny how you can know a person and not know they have daddy tattooed on their butt.
That was during a time when I was a pretty sick puppy. I went and got it with my friend David Blaine. I was 18.
David Blaine, he's been accused.
Scotland Yard confirmed to the Daily Beast on Thursday, October 19th, that David Blaine has been accused of rape by former model Natasha Prince. Prince claimed that the magician raped her after having drinks at a private home in the Chelsea neighborhood of London in the summer of 2004.
This is also a good time to bring back my interview with David Blaine. And today we have a very special guest, street magician, panhandler, and accused rapist, David Blaine. Say hey, David. So you have an eyeball on your hand. You ever see that movie, The Gate, with Stephen Dorff?
And think about it.
What?
And think about it.
I don't know what you're saying.
And think about it.
You'll think about it?
And think about it.
Makes no fucking sense. What kind of drugs are you on?
Protection.
Can I get a couple? Are you alright, man? David, this guy's weird. I was just wondering what you had to say about these rape allegations.
I'm just a showman. I just like doing what I do.
The fuck was that?
Protection from death.
David Blaine, ladies and gentlemen. Bijou started acting in 1997, and in 1999, she was in Black and White, directed by James Toback, who has been accused by almost 40 women of sexual assault, sexual harassment.
Tonight, a new bombshell. Hollywood director James Toback now being accused by at least 38 women of sexual harassment and assault. The LA Times speaking to women who say he approached them in an array of places. New York City Central Park, in line at a bank, or even at a copy center. Some accusers claim Toback, who wrote the 1991 film Bugsy, would use the film as a pickup line. Others claiming he would brag about actors he worked with, like Robert Downey Jr. Echo Dannon, who acted in Toback's Black and White movie, tweeting, "If you were involved in the film business in the 90s, you knew that hashtag Harvey Weinstein was a sexual predator. Another one was hashtag James Toback."
And then in 2001, she did Bully with director Larry Clark. If you're not familiar with Larry Clark, he does a lot of things on teenage sexuality. He also directed Kids and Bully, among other things. And if you haven't seen it, I did a video a while back called Casper Goes to the Past, having some things to deal with Larry Clark. I'll put a link if you haven't seen it. In September of 2016, Larry Clark was on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast, and he had quite a few things to say about Bijou.
Of all people, we got the go-ahead with Bijou. Now, Bijou Phillips was like known. She was like the Paris Hilton before Paris Hilton.
Right.
She was a club kid who was 15 years old out there in all the clubs at 15 years old, fucking everybody, and producers and that I know, and old men were fucking her and shit, and everybody was fucking her. And I just found it disgusting, man, you know. And the first time I met her, she came to me in this club, and she sat down next to me put her arm around me, took the cigarette out of my mouth and started smoking, and started talking to me and hugging me, right, and kind of feeling me up, and hadn't acted. But that name, because she was in the paper every day for being a clubhead for doing nothing, that name got us the money, got financed. And the other girl in Bully, who's so beautiful, Kelly Garner. And Kelly Garner had these great teeth. And in the movie, her teeth are all crooked. And, it was just beautiful. And the most beautiful breast in the whole world, right? And she's only like 17 or something, 16 or something. And I actually have her naked in a naked scene with her and Michael Pitt laying in bed naked in the film, which was a big coup to be able to do that scene. I got a great performance out of Bijou Phillips, who can't act a lick and was terrible. So I had to figure out ways around that to make her good, and I made her so good,
which is great,
that all of a sudden I said, when this film comes out, she's going to get all these jobs, and the director's going to have no idea, that she can't act a lick and she's crazy as a bug. And after the film, she got some big roles.
She did
in films, and they cut her out of them. They cut her out of them because nobody could have done what I did.
What a narcissistic asshole. Bijou's husband, Danny Masterson, has been accused.
Netflix dropping Danny Masterson from the show The Ranch following accusations of rape from years ago. He joins a growing list in Hollywood facing accusations, then lost film and TV projects. And Amy, I know you have more on all this.
That's right. We know that Masterson was fired on Tuesday by Netflix. The accusations, as you say, go back to the early 2000s when he was starring in the hit sitcom That 70s Show.
And let's not forget, both Bijou and Danny are Scientologists. It just seems to me that her whole life she's been
surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes!
fucking stoned.